Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And today, the topic of conversation is secrets to a happy relationship. This is a topic that I get all the time, right? So in my one-on-one coaching sessions, questions on the YouTube channel, through Facebook, Instagram, how do I maintain and sustain a happy relationship? And as easy as it may sound, it's actually incredibly difficult. We say this all the time. We aren't taught how to navigate a relationship in school, right? It's not a course that we're able to take in middle school, high school. There sure as hell is not one in college. So we basically just have to figure it out through experience, trial and error, trying to understand what works and what doesn't. And because of that, there are many failed relationships, but there are also many successful relationships. So I wanted to give you guys some tips, some tools in regards to maintaining and sustaining a happy and healthy relationship. So the very first one, and this is, again, at the top of the priority list, which is why I put it as number one, and it's maintaining a sense of self-identity. Oftentimes when we get into a relationship, the very beginning of the relationship is so exciting. It's so new. There's this honeymoon phase. Emotions are running at an all-time high, and we just want to spend 24/7 with our new boyfriend, our new girlfriend, our new partner. And if we fall into that habit in the long run, what ends up happening is that we sacrifice our own goals, we sacrifice our own interests, our own hobbies, and we start to lose ourselves in that relationship. And when you lose yourself in a relationship, you start to feel or have what we call an identity crisis, right? Because you stopped focusing on your goals. You stopped focusing on the things that you wanted to achieve. And you put all of your energy into this individual because what you're trying to do is you're trying to maintain and sustain a healthy relationship, but you're not doing it the right way. When you initially met your partner, when you initially met that person that you are currently in a relationship with, you were two individuals, right? You were two independent individuals who had full autonomy and you can do whatever you want. And the reason why you were attracted to each other was because of each other's personalities, because of each other's goals, because of each other's, physical look and things that you guys shared in common and interests, right? So if you get into a relationship and you don't keep that as a priority, then what ends up happening is that you kind of become one solid unit. There isn't a separation between the two. Now, there's a difference between working as a team and achieving goals in a relationship and then just kind of becoming this one unit, right? Because it takes two people to make a relationship work. So if you start to kind of blend into each other in that sense, you get into like a gray, slippery area. So maintaining self-identity. And how do you do that, right? How do you get back your self-identity if you've already gotten into this pattern of not really focusing on yourself? Well, the first thing is focus on yourself, right? Self-reflection, take a step back. What is my situation? Where am I at? Am I happy in my relationship? Am I happy with myself? Asking yourself those tough questions is going to be the very first thing that you're going to want to do in order to actually understand where you are and how you want to progress. It's also about, taking on hobbies. If there's things that you used to do that you really enjoyed that you haven't done in a long time, or maybe you just do them sporadically, you don't do them as frequently, start to invest time in those things. And the reason why is because it helps to build your self-confidence, it helps to build your self-esteem, and you start to feel like yourself again. And when you have that feeling that I feel good, I feel like myself, I feel like I'm achieving things and I'm striving towards my goals, your energy level changes. The way you perceive things changes. The way you view yourself, the way you view your partner, the way you view your world. And what ends up happening is that transfers into the relationship and your partner picks up on that. And you're able to inspire and motivate your partner. And then that will give them the green light to do whatever they want to do, right? Start living more of an independent life, and they will start to inspire and motivate you, and it becomes a beautiful symbiotic relationship, and that is exactly what you are looking for. Number two, Communication. Communication is key in any relationship. It is so important to keep that line of communication open, right? And oftentimes, what ends up happening is as we progress in our relationship, as it goes from a short term relationship to a long term relationship, and the years start to go by, we get into a space where we just become comfortable and we expect our partner to know things about us, right? We start to assume that because we've been together for so long, that my partner should know what I'm thinking. My partner should know what it is I want. My partner should know that, I am upset in this moment and they need to make me feel better. But I always recommend assume that your partner knows nothing. Because if we take it back to self-reflection and self-development, people grow, right? We change as individuals. The person that I was when I was 21 years old is not the person that I am now, right? The person that I was even 6 months ago is not the person that I am now. So if you have lost that connection, if you've lost that line of communication with your partner, it is very possible that you're two very different individuals in the same relationship. And again, that actually creates an identity crisis for the relationship, because now you're two totally different individuals who are trying to get to know each other again, and you're having to figure out how to communicate with each other. And trying to figure out how to communicate is already difficult enough because everybody receives information differently and everybody delivers information differently. So what is that sweet spot? What can you say? What can't you say? How do you say it? Those are all important parts of communicating effectively and productively with your partner. And if you haven't figured out how to do that, trying to do that when you don't even know your partner at this point can be very difficult. It's not impossible. 100%. It is absolutely possible. It just requires dedication and patience and empathy in order to get there. But again, keeping the lines of communication open is so important because that's really what connects you guys, right? That's really what bonds you guys. The ability to be vulnerable with each other, the ability to share experiences with each other, the ability to be on the same page, have the same goals, and strive towards them is going to require for you guys to converse. So if this is something that you feel like is missing in your relationship, then actively and consciously make the decision to do that. So set up a touch, a catch up with your partner or a check-in with your partner once a day, once a week, a couple times a month, whatever it is that you need to do in order to start that pattern, that routine, do it now. And it may seem weird, it may seem uncomfortable because it hasn't happened in such a long time, but I challenge you and I ask you to think about this. If you find it uncomfortable and if you find it weird, then the real question is, how long has it been since you've actually communicated with your partner? Because if you've been communicating with your partner this entire time, it should not feel weird. The third part of this is intimacy, right? Having a strong foundation when it comes to intimacy. Now, I want to be clear. Most people confuse intimacy with sex. They're two different things. Now, technically, they're under the same category, but intimacy is a little bit more geared towards or focused on the deeper bond that the two of you guys have. And it's really about the small gestures, not these big, grandiose type things, right? So people oftentimes think that they have to make this huge presentation, this huge, act in order to win the love back of their spouse or for their spouse to really appreciate them and the things that they're doing to really show that they're putting in an effort. You don't have to do that. It's really about the small stuff, right? So if you're having a conversation with your partner and they mention to you something that they really want to do, they really like, instead of forgetting about that, it's about remembering that, right? Filing that, storing it in your brain and saying, okay, I'm going to utilize this information for our next anniversary. I'm going to utilize this information for her birthday, for his birthday. Because those small little details, those small little things make all the difference. It makes your partner feel like you're actually listening to them, that you understand them, that you are investing the time and the energy and you care enough to have actively and consciously chosen to remember that small detail. It's as small as sitting down and watching a movie and holding hands or putting your hand on their leg. It's about, buying your partner that thing that they've been wanting forever and not telling them and surprising them with it. Intimacy is also just deep conversation, right? So if your partner is having a really, really bad day and you can show up for them emotionally and support them through that process, that's you exercising intimacy because you are providing a safe environment for them and you are supporting them. And that's really what your partner is looking for. And gentlemen, I want you to understand something. Intimacy and the ability to understand your partner is actually what I would consider and what most people would consider the foreplay for women, right? Because they have to feel emotionally bonded to you. They have to feel like they are being understood, they're being heard, and that you care about them enough to be able to move on to the next part of this, which is sex, right? Maintaining an active sex life. I've talked about this in my previous videos, right? And sex is so important in a relationship. And the reason why is because sex in a relationship differentiates between a platonic relationship and a romantic relationship. A platonic relationship is fine, it's great, but it's not what you're looking for if you are wanting to be in a romantic relationship, correct? Platonic relationship you can have with your best friend, with your family, whatever, that's fine. A romantic relationship involves more, right? It's a deeper connection. It's the ability to be a lot more vulnerable with your partner. It's the ability to actually be sexually attracted to your partner. And why are we sexually attracted to our partners? For the purposes of procreation and bringing life into the world and all those things, right? But at the end of the day, it is so important to make sex a priority. I work with so many couples, and the number one complaint most of the time is that they lack a sex life. And it's understandable, right? I get it. The monotony of life, the routines, there's so much that you have to focus on and worry about. There's external stresses. You're trying to pay the mortgage. You're working 12 hours a day. You have the kids that you have to take care of. You have errands. You have this. You have that. You have this. I get it. But prioritizing your sex life sometimes is more important than some of those things, because you're going to want to be able to maintain and sustain that relationship for the long term, right? And in order to do that, you have to stay emotionally connected. You have to stay physically connected. You have to stay mentally connected. And sex is a big part of that. So if it's been a long time since you've had sex with your partner, identify the reasons for why. You know, is there some emotional baggage there? Are there some resentments? Are there some frustrations? Or maybe it's just you haven't done it because you've been busy with other things. Take a step back, reevaluate, and make it a priority. If you have to spice things, maybe you do have an active sex life, but it's gotten a little boring. It's gotten a little bit of routine, gotten into a routine. Spice it up, you know? Try different things. Book a hotel for the weekend. Go into a new environment. Go on Amazon. Buy, sex game cards or toys or whatever it is that you need to do and you are comfortable with in order to really kind of change the dynamic in the bedroom. And that will help to, increase the excitement in the relationship and elevate the experience itself. The last and final one, right? The last and final piece of the puzzle, and this doesn't mean that this is the last priority. It's respect. You have to have general respect for your partner, right? When you get into a relationship with somebody, you start to share information about each other, and all this information is new. But the reason for why you are in a relationship is because you admire and you respected that individual's views, their ideologies, the way they view the world, the way that they approach things, right? Their energy. That all has to continue throughout the relationship. If you stop respecting your partner, if contempt comes into the relationship, it's going to be very difficult to shift that dynamic. So as long as you are maintaining respect in the relationship, you are treating your partner the way you would like to be treated. You are speaking to them in a respectful manner. You are giving them the space to express themselves emotionally. They feel safe enough to share with you certain ideologies or theories or the way that they're thinking about something. Those are all necessary things to be able to maintain a healthy relationship. If you guys like this video, if you guys relate to this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. Maybe you just want a little bit more information. You want some more details. You want to try to learn a little bit more about this topic, you can visit us at www.happily-committed.com, where we have a multitude of different articles, blogs, and videos related to this subject and many other subjects as well. Maybe you want to book a one-on-one coaching session and you feel like you just need a little bit more support. You can also do that directly on the website as well. And any of the coaches would be more than happy to support you through anything that you need, really. To support you through anything that you need, really. We also have a product section, right? So if you feel like you just need a little bit more training, you want to be able to learn some of this information in a self-paced environment, you can go to the product section and purchase any of the products that we have there. As I mentioned in this video, we talk a lot about communication, we talk a lot about self-awareness, and I have created many different products involving these things, right? So focused on self-awareness and development, focused on communication. And I highly recommend and advise that you guys head over and you take a look at those and you utilize those, because it would help to progress. It will help you in your relationship. It'll help you progress, and it'll help you get to the goals that you have for you and your partner. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.